Previously from last year, 2025, but now it's 2026, the 2nd of May, and this time at the motorist, it is another one of them American car meets, where a bunch of Yorkshire people will show how to park like an American parking lot at the motorist. So, enjoy. Hello and welcome to the motorist. Yes, at the motorist all day. And you'll be wondering who is speaking. Yeah, I'm the one on the left, obviously, not the one at the right. So it's just me and Bonnie looking at American vehicles. But is she going to be a different person today, Bonnie? Yes, she is going to be Heather Thomas. Yeah, the one what played Jodie Banks in The Fall Guy. Because obviously that will be coming in later on. Because I'm going to be here all day at the motorist. And obviously, don't worry, you're not going to hear me doing a voiceover because it's quite unusual for me. But yes, I'm here all day to save you. You know, many people come here and spend a few hours, but obviously you'd be amazed what things turn up and what things you do miss. But anyhow, enjoy, I hope, you know. So I can leave it at that. Obviously, you will hear a lot of different sort of engine noises and stuff like that because, unfortunately, with the motorists, they don't play any royalty-free music. It'd be quite handy if they did, but it's nice to listen to music. But unfortunately for me, I have to sort of like take a lot of this music out because, you know, it's not royalty-free. So enjoy, and you know, usually I do nice music effects and stuff and that, but nah, we don't need to do it this time, or do we? Okay, so further ado, let's enjoy. Put that on gravel.
this one. Phony! Genuinely! Another one!
The Cannonball Run is not just an entertaining film starring Burt Reynolds, Dom DeLuise, the Rat Pack, and Farrah Fawcett. It was in fact a real cross-country outlaw road race, and the history of Cannonball really exists in 3 chapters. The actual Cannonball Baker Sea to Shining Sea Memorial Trophy Dash, the continuation events that followed, and now the modern interpretations. Cannonball was actually the brainchild of Rock Yates and Steve Smith while they worked at Car and Driver. The name came from Irwin Cannonball Baker, who was known worldwide for over 100 point-to-point average speed records, including runs from New York to LA in cars and on motorcycles. And Yates, who was always a fan of some civil disobedience and a champion of libertarian ideas, designed Cannonball to really reflect his frustration with the imposition of government on daily life. It also grew to include the manifestation of their displeasure with the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit being imposed, the double nickel. And they designed an event to prove that
So, very interesting to see, yeah, but no, Brony is not playing the character of Farrah Fawcett. No, Brony will be playing another famous actress. Wrong, but maybe not the car. Here I am, admiring the gorgeous, lovely, station wagon. Yeah, it's not that common in the UK to see one of these, but yeah, I'm making a very woodwork and all that lot. Ooh, I'm very excited and making a very big lash. Obviously, you're hearing another voiceover because obviously, you know, the motorist is very adamant to play music all the time. Let's get back to
Bring it over now. Just a scuffle.
Big kilometres, aren't they?
Right back at that.
Yeah, that don't help, does it? That's out there.
Oh yeah, it's going in. Can you go over a bit, eh?
He's doing it blind. That's what I mean.
Let's go down a 50. It'll do it, that.
That's your workout for doing it.
Oh, here she is again. Way I filmed you. Put this video on and all. There's a film where one of them cars has been chased by a crop duster. Even the fog night trucks I've seen. I forgot what it was. They actually crashed the crop duster and the car, and then the car comes crashing through the plane and it wrecks. Just goes off a little bit deep. The car jumps through it.
The Dukes of Hazzard was inspired by the 1975 film Moonrunners, a lesser-known movie about a family of moonshiners who outwit corrupt law enforcement. Created by Guy Waldron, the film's themes, rebellion, fast cars, and southern charm, were repackaged into a television format by Warner Brothers Television. When the show premiered on CBS on January 26, 1979, few anticipated just how big it would become. The series followed cousins Bo and Luke Duke, played by John Schneider and Tom Wopat, as they navigated life in fictional Hazard County, Georgia. Alongside them was their cousin Daisy Duke, played by Captain Bach, their wise Uncle Jesse, played by Denver Pyle, and their trusty mechanic friend Cooper Davenport, played by Ben Jones. The Duke boys were former moonshiners serving probation and were perpetually at odds with the corrupt county commissioner, Boss Hogg, played by Sorrel Brook, and his bumbling sidekick, Sheriff Roscoe P. Coltrane, played by James Best. The premise was simple but effective. Each episode saw the Dukes get into and out of trouble while evading the law in their iconic car, the General Lee, a bright orange 1969 Dodge Charger with a Confederate flag on the roof and the number 01 on the side. The combination of high-speed chases, outrageous stunts, and comedic escapades quickly won over audiences. During its early seasons, the Dukes of Hazzard became a runaway success. By the early 1980s, it was one of the highest-rated shows on television, regularly pulling in millions of viewers each week. Much of the show's appeal stemmed from its mix of action, humor, and family-friendly storytelling. While Bo and Luke were technically lawbreakers, they were always portrayed as good-hearted rebels who fought against corruption and injustice. The show also capitalized on Southern culture, incorporating country music, rustic settings, and an us-versus-them mentality that resonated with a broad audience. At its height, the series spawned a massive wave of merchandise, from lunchboxes and toys to model cars and board games. The General Lee itself became an icon, with fans attempting to replicate its stunts or customizing their own cars to look like the famous Dodge Charger.
On Wednesday, November 24th, 1971, at 6:27 p.m. aboard Flight 305 from Portland to Seattle, the following event actually took place. What happened after that is anybody's guess.
In 1971, a man called D.B. Cooper got on a plane and got off a little early with $200,000 of the airline's money. When he touched ground, the legend began. And the chase was on.
Who the hell are you? Bill Gruen, General Indemnity Insurance, and we're on the hook for that 200 grand.
This is the second day of the mysterious and dramatic disappearance of a man using the alias D.B. Cooper. There are 3,000 armed men scouring that forest now, so careful, D.B.
Katie, it's me, I'm back!
Are you trying to tell me the only reason you did this thing is for me?
Only you. And the money. I know who Cooper is.
Hey! Where you going with that airplane?
I got a few ideas about where he may be going.
I got a piece of information that's gonna make somebody a very big hero. Grab some sky there, Tootsie.
Person that turns him in is going to be a national hero.
Person that turns him in ought to get shot.
Yep, cash and carry. You're still an outlaw.
And I'm a very successful outlaw.
Straight back. Perfect, keep going straight back. Thank you. There's a nice spot next to the yellow Mustang if you want. Yeah, no problem.
And the money. I know who Cooper is.
Hey! Where you going with that airplane?
I got a few ideas about where he may be going.
I got a piece of information that's gonna make somebody a very big hero. Grab some sky there, Tootsie. Person that turns him in is going to be a national hero.
Person that turns him in ought to get shot.
Yep, cash and carry. You're still an outlaw.
And I'm a very successful outlaw.
That way?
Right yonder. Them guys, man. They're gone. I'm famous now.
To some, he was an outlaw. To others, he was a hero. But to all of us, he's the one that got away.
It was great, Dad. It was great.
The pursuit of D.B. Cooper. Who says you can't take it with you?
So it gives you a more familiar pattern. Yes, I have seen this car before, and obviously I spoke to the owner as well, but obviously I couldn't think of the film's name. Mentioned about the crop duster and the big battle they have, but this vehicle sort of reminds me of what you've just seen right now. And obviously it is sort of based on a true fact story or something, but anyhow, we'll carry on and let you see a bit more of this vehicle at the Motorist, not at the Flat Cap and Ferry event, because I've already got that video out right now. But yeah, that was just a rebrief. Maybe the owner might see this.
They know it all.
Yeah, but you know, that other idiot's more knowledgeable.
What other idiot?
The one what hangs around outside the shed, waiting for his boyfriend to come out or whatever. You did actually, yeah.
Bye, have a great time.